Have you ever wondered what's going on in a good player's head? If maybe you're missing something? In this series, I'll take you inside my own Masterball matches, breaking down every decision along the way so you can play smarter and climb faster. This is the Masterball Mind. So the only info you have at the beginning of the game is your opponent's energy type, which is more than you think. In this game, I can see my opponent using lightning energy, which means I need to start loading my anti-Oricorio strats into my brain. I can tell that my opponent is probably using the Zeraora Oricorio deck that's been popular recently. Even this early on, your mental model about how the match is about to go should start forming. My opening hand is okay. I would love to have an Eeveelution as well, but with Pokeball, Oak, and my Find a Friend version of Eevee, I'll probably hit one pretty soon. And my opponent plays Pikachu EX? Wait, what? I guess I did see that Pikachu EX deck going around recently. Maybe this is that? But I know that deck could do 90 damage on the second turn. Suddenly, my opening feels a little weak. I know that I should probably play a little bit defensive here, especially because I'm not familiar with my opponent's deck. My opponent immediately plays Oak, Pokeball, and this actually tells me they're a decent player. How? Well, because of the sequencing. Pokeball, Oak gives Oak a lower likelihood of hitting basics than Oak, Pokeball. My opponent wants extra basics because of Pikachu's Circle Circuit, so using Oak and then the Pokeballs increases the likelihood of filling up their bench and doing a max damage Circle Circuit. His opening also means they're very likely to hit their Zeraora on turn 1, which is part of their 90 damage by their second turn strategy. All he needs now is an Elemental Switch or a Dawn, and my Eevee is pretty much toast. My opponent plays out his whole bench. He could have left one back here in order to make sure that I had less information, but he also has to think about my potential red card, and if I red card and remove a basic from his hand, that lowers his damage potential with his Pikachu. He passes back to me and I draw a Pokeball of my own. Unlike my opponent, I actually don't want basics, I want my Eeveelution, which means that I want to play my Pokeballs first, so that way my Oak is less likely to hit basics. And now there is something to be said here about me not playing into my opponent's red card, but I think the chances that he has it are less than 50% based on the game so far, and I know that I have a lot of cards in my deck that will still draw me cards between another Oak and a Sylveon, so I actually don't mind my chances here. Looking at the cards I drew, I hit that red card we keep talking about, and an Espeon EX. This is a pretty good hand, if I get to keep it. I play out my EVs and evaluate my options. It always feels good to put your energies on your EV in your active slot, so that way you can attack by turn 2, and you can use Find a Friend to increase your likelihood of getting more Eeveelutions. But in this case, I know there's a high likelihood of my opponent doing 90 damage by turn 2, which means if I put my energy on my active EV, I'll lose my EV and my energy, and that'll most likely lose me the game, so I can't risk it. I just decide I'm going to sacrifice the EV in the active slot. Again, everything comes back to red card. If I put my energy on my EX EV, it keeps it a little bit safer, because if I get red carded, then I can still use my non-EX EVs to tank while I dig for a new Eeveelution. So I pass the turn and hold my breath. My opponent uses Silver and takes my Cyrus. This is actually not that bad for me. Most decks only have one Silver, and I didn't need my Cyrus until later in the game anyway. So now, later in the game, I won't have to worry about him taking my Sabrina or my Cyrus out of my hand with Silver. Especially as my deck against Oricorio, because Sabrina is one of the main ways to close out the game against Oricorio. But then he puts down his first energy, and as soon as I'm expecting him to use the Elemental Switch to send an energy to Pikachu... Wait, what? He retreated? He doesn't have it. But before I celebrate too much, I realize the Pichu he sent out is still safe because I put my energy on my bench, which means next turn he'll still be able to retreat his Pikachu and bring out Pikachu EX without being punished. I draw Oak and immediately play it. Hitting Espeon EX and Cape is a great draw for me. But first I double check his Pikachu just to make sure I remember the numbers, you know? It's been a while. And I was right. At 120 HP, it'd be very difficult for him to tank 2 attacks from Espeon, even with the Cape, especially if I have my EV bag in my back pocket. Meanwhile, after doing some math, I realize my Espeon is actually in a great spot. With Giant Cape, Psychic Healing, and my EV bag healing as backup, I can tank 2 max damage Circle Circuits. So I throw down both Espeons and the Giant Cape. It's tempting to save the Giant Cape to try to surprise him, but yeah, you guessed it, red card makes saving it pretty risky. My opponent oaks right away, putting him at 5 cards. I'm pretty happy that I saved my red card till my opponent's hand was nice and juicy. He switches to Pikachu EX and attacks. So far, everything according to plan. Especially now that I've drawn Silver. The Silver plus red card combo is great. It allows you to red card first, putting your opponent down to 3 cards. Then you can silver, look at their hand, and even take one of your opponent's trainers. This feels especially good for me right now because I want to look at my opponent's hand so I know what's going on with this deck since I'm not very familiar with it. Because this play gives me information and I want to make all my subsequent decisions with the maximum amount of info possible, I do this first. I see a Sabrina, a different Pikachu EX, and Pichu. I remove the Sabrina and make a mental note that it's still in his deck somewhere. I'm actually pretty happy to see this. It means at least right now, he doesn't have very much in the way of utility like other trainers or items that I'll have to worry about. At this point, I realize I can dance my Espeons around a little bit, double heal, and then attack. At this point in the game, I'm really starting to think about Cyrus and Sabrina, how they could change the board state. Neither of us have used them. I can kind of feel them waiting in the wings, building pressure. So many matches in this game come down to one of the two of them coming in at the end and stealing the last couple points away, and I know it. I check my side of the board, and then I check his, trying to see what the likelihood is that either of us will draw them soon. If I hit Cyrus here, that gives me a guaranteed kill on his Pikachu EX. I have 7 cards left in my deck, so that seems like a 1 in 7 chance, but I also have Sylveon EX in my deck, which means if I hit Sylveon, the 2 cards that I draw off of that will be a 1 in 6 and a 1 in 5 chance. I'm not a statistician, but my odds seem pretty good of drawing my Cyrus in the next turn or two. He plays Giovanni, which means he must have drawn it this turn because I already saw the other 2 cards in his hand, and it brings my Espeon down to 40. I'm considering healing this turn because after I kill Pikachu, that'll bring me out of range of any of his other Pokemon's attacks. Considering I'm going to kill his Pikachu here, and 1 Espeon heal will bring Espeon out of range of any of his other Pokemon's attacks, I wonder why my opponent did this. Wait, could he have red in his deck? Did that Giovanni put his Oricorio or Zeraora in range of being able to kill my Espeon? It's unlikely, but it would put me in a really bad spot. I could use my EV bag here to heal out of range. Yeah, let's do that. This also puts my Espeon on the bench, 1 heal away from being out of range of being killed by the Pikachu EX he still has in his hand. I throw down the heal, and then I realize I was so deep in the tank thinking about how to outplay his red that I didn't realize I drew Sabrina. This puts me in a great spot. Even if he plays Oricorio here, I can switch it out with Sabrina, attack that, and then if he switches that damaged Pokemon back to the bench, I can still pull that back in with my Cyrus. Which, I mean, there's only a few cards left in my deck. Surely my Cyrus is coming soon. Right? Right? Worst case, I can tank with Espeon heal and wait. I mean, the only threat is Pikachu EX, and he hasn't even played it. Surely it'll be a while until it comes online. So I kill his Pikachu and send the turn back. He just sends out the Oricorio, puts Pikachu EX on his bench, attacks, and sends the turn back. So far, all according to plan. My turn, and I draw EVEX. Okay, only 5 cards left, which should be EV Bag, Cyrus, both Sylveons, and normal Espeon. I use Psychic Healing, and briefly consider casting it on the benched Espeon to make it Cyrus-proof. But then I realize healing my active Espeon, and then switching to my benched Espeon will protect me from all of his attacks, and protect me from Red and Cyrus. I decided to play the Sabrina, but first I checked my discard pile just to make sure I'm accurately accounting for all of the cards left in my deck. I really want that Cyrus right now. He swaps to a Zeraora and I put it down to 10. I'm feeling pretty good about the situation. His turn starts and just like I predicted, he switches to Pikachu? Elemental switch? Wait, what is happening? As he attacks me and kills my Espeon, I check the cards left in his deck to see if I really should have been accounting for this possibility. I think about both of the heals that I put on the other Espeon that would have helped my active Espeon to survive this. On the bright side, I do know his whole hand now, so that'll be useful. I consider sending out my Eevee because it feels safer, but I realize with my energy situation, I don't have enough energy to retreat and attack. I think about my deck again. 3 dead draws, 1 okay draw, 2 hits, and I get the okay draw. It's not super useful right now, but it might buy me some time if things go south later. Not much I can do besides make sure I'm doing the math right and attack. He just retreats behind his Oricorio and passes the turn back. Currently, 2 hits, 2 dead draws. Dead draw. Or so I think. As I'm trying to figure out where I should put my energy, I realize this dead draw actually turns the other dead draw in my deck into a hit. Meaning all the cards left in my deck are hits that win me the game. This Espeon means that the normal Sylveon in my deck will do enough damage to kill any of his Pokemon, even Oricorio. But every time I'm about to win in this game, something in the back of my head whispers, Sabrina, Cyrus. But Sabrina, I think I'm safe. And Cyrus, I actually don't have to worry about either. Unless there's another thing I didn't account for, I think I win. So I just heal and pass the turn back. He puts an energy on Pikachu? Wait, is there something else I forgot about? No. He just passes the turn back. Seems like I'm just a little bit traumatized. And there it is, our hero. Turns out, I didn't need Cyrus after all. After double checking the situation one last time, I throw my energy on Sylveon, switch it into the active slot, and attack to win the game. My goal is to help people get into battling and ranked more by giving you the information you need to feel confident to queue up. So if you have any recommendations or if this type of video was helpful for you, please let me know in the comments.